hi everyone, and I'm Minister Nicola Shortland-Neal here, CEO of and co-founder of Fox Pioneer Centre Spiritual Community. So today I'm at the Macari Foundation, Macari Centre even in Stoke-on-Trent, chatting with the lovely Lou Macari, former footballer and club manager.
Yeah.
With numerous clubs, including Stoke City.
Yeah.
So I've done a bit of homework. Husband, father, and latterly philanthropist.
Whatever that means.
Basically, you do things for other people without any gain for yourself.
Yeah, we try.
Founder of Macari Foundation in 2016, the charity behind the Macari Centre, which was formerly on Regent Road, but now in the new premises here on Fletcher Road. So afternoon, Lou, and thank you for giving us your valuable time from your busy schedule. I've done a little bit. I've gone onto the Macari Centre website, and I see from your YouTube as well that you've done various videos over the years, and no doubt you've answered the questions that are going to arise from my curious mind 10 times over. So please forgive me if there's a lack of originality. However, I believe that everyone brings something different to every situation.
That's correct.
So please forgive me if I cover some old ground, and hopefully there is some originality. So you strike me as a down-to-earth, what you see is what you get. Humble man, no doubt from humble origins. So I have to ask you, what inspired you to create the Macari Foundation, and how has this experience shaped who you are as a person?
Well, things happen in your life that sometimes you look back and think, well, how did that happen? But this was quite simple. I was up in Hanley one day, which is in Stoke, and I saw lots of homeless people and saw them in the doorway, and actually one or two shouted at me because they were Port Vale supporters, which is the local team, the other local team down here, and a few Stoke supporters likewise, and I had a bit of banter with them, and after a great deal of conversation, I realised that there wasn't a great deal, according to the people that this was, there wasn't a great deal of facilities for them in Stoke-on-Trent to shelter from cold winter days and nights that we have. So, and I went home and I thought, well, that shouldn't be the case. There should be somewhere for them, and it should be quite simple because town council and have lots of empty buildings, lots of buildings have repossessed, and there's lots of property around to shield people from the rain and the wind and the snow and whatever else is on top of that. And at the same time, just by coincidence, the local paper had a sort of front page headline that Stoke was one of the towns in this country that had the fewest homeless people, and I thought, blooming hell, the whole country must be in a hell of a state, because I've been up there today and I've probably seen 30 or 40 homeless people just in my little tour around the shopping centre up there. Anyway, I thought, well, that can't be true, and of course it wasn't true. But I went to the council the next day and met up with a pal of mine who was a councillor, but he was also a football reporter for the local paper, and used to come down to the football ground, which is just across the road here. The old football ground, that is. Used to come down there to do the matches and fill in his opinions for the newspaper. So I had a friend who was in the council and asked him about the homeless situation, and he said, well, it's not too good, is it? And I said, well, according to the paper today, it seems reasonable, but my belief is it isn't too good, because I was up there yesterday. And I said to him, have you got any buildings? We've got loads of buildings, like every council. We've got buildings we've repossessed, and there's other buildings that are available. So I got the key of one of the buildings, and a couple of days later opened the doors and to see what response we would get. And I think the first day there was 8 or 9 people came, which was okay, because the word hadn't got around. And then by the end of 3 or 4 weeks, we had about 26 or 27.
Wow.
And the council had asked me what I was going to do, and never having had any connection at all with homeless people and this type of job, I said, look, there's only 3 things I can do.
Everything looked fine, and
which is feed them, clothe them.
we moved in
Roof
and
over
there
their
was
head.
safety
Anything
measures,
else,
fed
all
them
this
clothes,
moving
roof over
on
their head.
and
Yeah.
having people there
Found
that
that Hanley was getting a little
can
bit
help them to
out of
get
control.
into a better way of life. I said,
Um,
that's
In what way?
not for me, I can't do that.
Mm.
I said, so as long as you're aware of what I'm
I'll
all
have to cut
about,
it out anyway.
I'm all
so
about,
what's me
as I
was
said,
because
clothes
the
them, feed
council
them,
wouldn't
put
like
the
it.
roof over
This
their
was
head. We just put a roof over their head because we've got
Right.
the keys to the building.
So
Yeah, and the building was next to the mosque up in Hanley.
Mhm.
I felt that
People
Stoke was
you know,
going to be a better long term.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2 thoughts about, next to a mosque, will that go down well? And I said, well, we'll get to get friendly with the people in the mosque, and they'll do likewise with us, and there won't be
Yeah.
a problem. And I've got to say, in the whole time we were there, which was probably 3 going on for 4 years, we had no problems with anybody in the mosque, and it was brilliant.
Fabulous.
Used to cook food for us and bring it round, and of course our people loved the food they were cooking, so that continued. We used to get food from other places as well, so that was a big help. And I knew because of the having been the manager in the area, I knew because of the generosity of people in this area,
Yeah.
whatever they could give, they would give,
absolutely.
and it worked. But we were in the premises, which was the back of a building where you go and pay your parking fines. So if you get a parking fine in Stoke, which everybody does, you head for this place and you pay it. And we were at the back of that building. It wasn't an ideal building, but it served the purpose.
Of course.
The only problem was we had people sleeping. We had only 2 dormitories. We had about room for about 22 in each dormitory. So that eventually was 44. But they slept one after another. So when COVID came, and that 2 metre rule or 2 whatever it was, that you had to keep that distance apart, government came up.
I felt
and
that Stoke
obviously
was
looked at the
going to be a
building
better
and
long
said,
term.
it's
move,
not
let's
really
say.
acceptable. So
So
you
we
need to
moved down
put it in
here.
place. And I didn't have a
Slept
clue
in here quite
in
nicely.
the short period of time they gave
Of course,
me, which
you'll
was
get
couple of
complaints from
Jesus.
I
neighbours.
didn't have a clue where I could go and find
Wow, yeah.
another building.
It's not long at all, is it?
So I stumbled on I did stumble on a warehouse that I thought was going to be okay. It was massive. It was the size of a football pitch inside. It was empty. The only problem was it was colder inside than it was outside. Freezing inside the warehouse, reasonably okay outside.
Yeah.
So that wasn't suitable. Then I looked on the internet and I found a homeless shelter in Liverpool, and looked quite impressive what I saw. So I jumped on the train and headed over to Liverpool, got the taxi from Liverpool Lime Street out to this place where it was, just outside the city, and knocked at the door, and a voice came from nowhere saying,
From
"Who
the
is
beyond.
it?" Yeah.
From the beyond.
That voice did come from nowhere. Who is it? What do you want? I was to answer 5 questions in about 3 seconds. I said, "Oh, hold on a minute. It's just, all it is I found your service on the website, and I've come over from Stoke-on-Trent to see what you're all about, see if what you've got can be of help to me," and explained who I was and that. And of course we then quickly got to football, because he's shouting, "Oh, I'm a big Liverpool supporter," and and a lot of people in here support Everton and Liverpool, but I'll let you in, I'll take the chance. Bit of a joke.
Yeah, of course.
An ex-Manchester United player. And so anyway, I get in, and the first thing that hits me, this is not what it looked like on
Okay.
the internet.
In what way?
It was a lot smaller on the internet. It
Oh,
looked
okay.
huge. Whatever they'd done. Photography, yes. It's simple as that.
Same as when you go and view a house, really.
Yeah, that's it. So I thought, oh. But inside everything was great. They got a nice little setup. They had little metal pods in this place,
Yeah.
and they had names on the pods as well, like Kenny Dalglish if you're a Liverpool supporter,
Oh,
I came.
do you know what? I had a crush on Kenny Dalglish when
Oh,
I was
God.
a when I
I'll
was
tell
a
him when
young
I see him.
when I was a young girl, and that was the only reason I supported Liverpool, is because I liked his hair.
Right.
That was it. No other reason, just his hair. But yeah, please tell him.
All right, Al. So yeah, and on the other pods, had Everton players who played for Everton, had their name on the pods.
Yeah.
So whoever they took in, if you're an Evertonian, they gave you an Everton pod. If you're a
Brilliant.
Liverpudlian, they gave you. And I thought, well, that's quite catchy. That's quite good. So it's been worth my while coming here just alone to get that
Yeah.
idea. And then I saw these little metal pods and inquired how they'd made them, and then went away and jumped back on the train again and headed home. And my daughter-in-law lives on a farm. I'm up to the farm to see my son. And on the way up to the farm, I saw another big pod,
Yeah.
a lot bigger than these metal ones.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was in a field. So when I got to the farm, I said to daughter-in-law, "What's that big pod down in the farm about 3 farms down?" Oh, she said they do glamping. I said,
Okay.
"Right, what's glamping?" I had no idea. And she explained it, and I said, "Oh, right, so that's right, it's a massive pod." It was probably twice the size of the ones in Liverpool as well. So I thought, right, if I get a couple of those pods and I get the same warehouse that I found in Stoke, I can take the pods into the warehouse and the people won't be cold.
Good
And
thing.
even better still, I found out that the pods could actually be heated.
Fabulous.
So went through the process, making contact with the person who built them, found out how much they cost, and so on and so on, and thought, right, this is now a way of overcoming the problem with the cold.
Yeah.
So anyway, council wanted a sort of a run down to see what it looked like, and so I arranged for a couple of pods to be delivered, put them in the warehouse, and council come up, thought it was okay, liked it. Chris Whitty came, the guy from Boris's, who used to come out
Oh, him. Yes.
every morning and
Yes.
give a report on
Yes.
where we
yes.
are with COVID.
Yes.
He turned up,
Oh, okay.
he thought it was brilliant.
Fabulous.
The fact that there was these big pods and the size of the warehouse. He said to me, and by the way, the 2 metre rule won't come into play because of the size of
Yeah.
this area.
Brilliant.
People will always be 2 metres apart unless
Yeah.
they've actually gone up to one another and shaken their hands. And
Yeah.
he says, which obviously we'd advise you not to do. So that was more or less the go ahead
Fabulous.
to get into the big warehouse, which we went in. Went in there for about probably 3 years. So we moved in here, and I had 1 or 2 people in the other place. Again, it's a bit awkward. 1 or 2 that died,
Okay.
and I just detected it was because of the increase in drugs that were available.
Right. Okay.
So pointless me keep running this place and having more casualties. I'll get out of there and let's see if it makes a difference going somewhere else.
Yes. Of
So
course.
came down here. It's made a big difference in terms of they've got to go out of their way a little bit to get drugs.
Yeah.
Not much, but just enough maybe to put them off the daily routine of drugs.
Yeah.
And of course these drugs we have in Stoke are quite powerful, quite shocking. Send them off their head, lose all sense of seeing things and doing things. They think the snake's on the floor, shout, "Get the snakes away from me." Of course there's no
There's
snakes on
nothing
the
there,
floor.
no.
Strip off sometimes, run out the road in front of cars. And we'd had a fire as well. One of the women we had set fire to one of the pods, and
Oh dear. Wow.
so I just felt for a number of reasons, and 1 or 2 other things on top of that. He wanted to put the rent up, The landlord did, and I said, no, I'm not paying you. So we moved down here, we're here now, a lot quieter. We've got 26 people in here. I eventually, up in Hanley, had 48.
Wow, that's a lot.
Is a lot when you're trying to keep control of them all the time.
And was that 48 pods, or were there more than one to a pod?
48 pods.
That's a lot of pods. Yeah, a lot of people.
A lot of people, a lot of work, a lot of attraction.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't control everything, but what you can control, you do your best to control it. Even there, you'll fail because getting a solution to the whole massive big problem that we've got, not just in Stoke, in the whole country,
Yeah.
is the thing that I don't know that anybody's going to come up with a solution. Money doesn't solve anything, any problem you've got in this way of life. Support does, and then all of a sudden you might be getting your hopes built, you've got somebody ready to move on.
Yeah.
And then they'll do something stupid and then not move on. And I'm a firm believer, after being involved now for about 8 years, that there is nobody does what you want them to do unless they throw their weight into it as well.
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Our website, I'm not sure if it's still the same, but either on the back of something on our website, there's a picture of me sitting down with a lad who did move on.
I'm pretty sure there is a picture of you with a gentleman with dark hair.
That's him.
Yeah.
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 Now he popped up. He arrived at our place and was looking for a bed. And first gut feeling, this is a nice guy.
Yeah.
He shouldn't really be here. What's going wrong?
Yeah.
Big family problems in Derby, and he'd walked from Derby to Stoke.
Wow.
Looking for a bit of help. As soon as he told me that, I thought, oh bloody hell! Wait a minute, you're a bit exceptional.
Yeah.
So he did. He came and we got him the accommodation and we tried our best to encourage him to do various things. Wasn't heavily into drugs, but drugs were part of it because obviously that's what had been going wrong over at Derby where he lived. Stayed with us and gradually came across as a real good guy.
Yeah.
So he'd found us, and in turn we found a bit of a gem because he was, what do you want? I'm desperate to get out of this way of life that I'm in at the moment. It's not ideal. I'm not the worst person you'll ever have here because a lot of people have got more problems, he said, than he had. He had 1 or 2 family problems at the time.
Yeah.
That he was trying to overcome. So we took him in and with him desperate to do something and us throwing our bit in, he moved on. Now,
And would you say that this gentleman is just one of your success stories to have come through your doors, so to speak?
I'm not so sure it's one of ours because it's him. There's others that we've contributed to helping, obviously, but this one he was desperate himself.
Yeah.
To actually do it.
No, I agree.
And he comes back to us. He comes back he came back about 3 or 4 weeks ago, spent a night in the office with one of the staff. Still knows some of them here because we've got people here that have been here with us for 5 and 6 years now. I haven't been involved in football my whole life, and football obviously, as you know, is from week to week is results.
Yes,
That's what I thought
absolutely.
was going to happen here.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. as soon as I started off, I thought, right, this is it.
It's like the pools.
Yeah, but of course the results didn't come. And staff will tell you, I was getting agitated, and I still do, and angry, and whatever else comes along. I was that person who was now running the show and very unhappy about the results.
Yeah.
I was unhappy about the results. As I say, having been in the football games, win, lose or draw, you win, you go home, you're happy. You draw, you're reasonably happy, but if you lose, you're not so happy. So over a period of time, staff have said, look, you're not going to win with them all. What you've done is you've taken them off the street. That is making progress.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that as progress, but I know what they're talking about now. It is. We've taken people in, and before we took them in, they'd nowhere to go, and we're heading nowhere. At least we've stabilised things for them a little bit and gave them an opportunity to get back on their feet. But still, I get annoyed. It's the only job that I can think of that progressing doesn't seem to be there, written in black and white how you do it.
No.
Because if it was, the numbers would get better, and the numbers don't get better. You'd see less and less people on the streets of Stoke-on-Trent, on the streets of Liverpool, Manchester, wherever.
Yeah.
I went to Manchester about 3 years ago and got off the train at Piccadilly and walked down to Piccadilly Gardens, and it was just more or less one every 20 yards there'd be somebody there.
Yeah.
And in fairness, they tidied that up and things have got better. I don't know if things have got that much better, that the people who were in charge, Andy Burnham's one of them. I don't know if they're happy with what's happened, but when I bump into them, I'll ask them. Because if there's somewhere in this country, or there's somebody that's made great progress and is delighted with what they've done,
Yeah.
and they can pass on that information to anybody else.
Lou, can you share a memorable moment or story that stands out within your involvement within Macari Foundation?
Alan! Any stories I can put live on air about you that we can actually put on there? Have you got any?
Like what?
Well,
Memorable moment or a story that stands out?
In here?
not anywhere you've been with us right from the very beginning almost. Who have you come across that you can recollect that there was a bit of banter, a bit of fun, a bit of who was funny, really funny? Any of our people? I'm just trying to get you to jog my memory now.
You've been inspired. You've inspired me. You helped me out. There's a lot of issues that I've gone through, and I've tried to battle them for many years. You founded this place. I don't know where I'd be without it. And
Right.
I don't know. I don't know any funny anything.
Right.
The only thing I can think about.
Here we go.
I was really drunk.
Yeah.
It was at the Hanley.
Up in Hanley.
Pods.
Yeah.
And I got a black chair,
Yeah.
a wheelie chair,
Yeah.
and I sat on it. And
the office is right up the top end.
Okay.
And I just sat on it and I wheeled myself up. And
Knocked at the door.
knocked at the door, and then I walked in, rolled in, and goes, "I've got my own chair now, Lou." That's the only.
Brilliant.
You remember that, don't
Yeah, I
you?
do. Good man.
Thank you.
Right.
Perfect.
This place is awesome.
Alright, I think trying to tie me down to saying anything about somebody, I think he's probably just summed it up in the best way possible. We've tried to make it, as homely as we can, as lively as we can.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, these are, you know, young men that have passing their time away with us, and we've got to try and give them, you know, we've taken them to the football, we've taken them to Blackpool, we've taken them other places to try and give them another outlook on things, and that's helped us as well, because you realise, or we've realised that they've never been anywhere, they've never done anything, and that was highlighted to me when we've got a van out there and I drive it. So I decided to take them to Blackpool.
Okay.
Bought the tickets for the Pleasure Beach. I think I bought 40 tickets with a van and 3 cars going to Blackpool. I think I bought about 40 tickets anyway. And I'm driving the van, and as we come off the M6 and head down to Blackpool, I forget what, I think it's M58 that takes you down to Blackpool. Got halfway down that motorway, one of them shouted, "Oh, there's an effing tower over there, look at that." And of course, we informed them it's Blackpool Tower. And then got on the promenade and there's a beach. Hey, there's a beach, look, there's a beach here. And of course then trams, you see the trams coming along.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my God, we take it for granted that Blackpool's no big deal going for a day out. Everybody's been, but it hit home that everybody hadn't been. And then we got on the Pleasure Beach and gave them the tickets, and in they went, and 4, 5, 6 hours later, I forget what it was, they were all coming back saying, "Oh, that was brilliant, that was brilliant." We then took them to Harry Ramsden's, which
the chip shop.
along there.
Yeah.
Simply because it's a bit different to a normal chip shop, and in matches you get a big fish, big chips, big everything.
Yeah.
Took them in there, and they liked that as well. And from our point of view, the success was that they behaved themselves both at the Pleasure Beach and in Harry Ramsden's, and then made our way home to back to Stoke. And when we got back, the talking point, you know, with the staff was the fact that they'd never been to Blackpool before, none of them. And it woke us up a bit that taking them somewhere is better than them, you know, than sitting around, hanging around and doing the same thing with the same people in Stoke-on-Trent every day. So if if I do events or that for anybody, I normally ask people at the events, have they got any suggestions for us? Because we run out of ideas when we see them every day, and we run out of ideas about what to do next or what to do with them. And we're still looking for ideas, and we still, whatever somebody suggested, we'd look into it and try and take them. Things like holidays abroad, too difficult.
Yes, absolutely.
Passports are a difficult thing.
Yes.
Because there's criminal records involved, and they may not have told us about a criminal record, because we know when people come to us, we want a bit of background, but we want a bit of background, a bit of honesty, and if they forget to tell us or conveniently forget to tell us about something, a bit disappointing, but it's an awkward position they're in because they're sitting down, trying to come into your building with you and to work with you, and at the same time you're asking them awkward questions.
Yeah.
So, and I've learned that, what I have learned in the 8 years is that there's an unpredictability about them, which is why they're with you,
Yeah.
why they've gone astray a little bit, why things haven't happened for them the way they should have.
Mm-hmm.
We get parents, in the very beginning, we got parents sometimes completely refusing to have them for a weekend, or because we were new to this and thought, right, if we can send somebody home for the weekend and send them back there, then bring them back on the Monday morning, that'll be good. But I've got to say, most of the parents had given up.
Mm.
Most of the parents, didn't really take them back. Simple as that. And it was hard to understand at the time, but it's not so difficult now because you realise that they've maybe gone too far when they were living at home, for whatever reason why they were asked to leave.
Yeah.
It may have just been a bit too much. So the people that you're dealing with, they're hard to get to know. But I decided that that's the best route forward. Is getting to know all of them if you can.
Yeah.
And for them to get to know you and for you to be who you are. I've got a lad with us for about 6 years, and he used to call me the failed footballer. And I loved it. I loved it. Because it was funny.
Yeah.
I'd been fortunate enough in my career, with a bit of luck as well, to have played for a team in Scotland that I supported, team in England that I came to, which is one of the biggest teams in the world, and lasted 11 years at Manchester United. And this little fella who's a bit of a character, he used to be in a rock band, is saying to people, "Have you met the field footballer?" And it was a great introduction because whenever it happened, it broke the ice right away,
Absolutely.
So all sorts of characters, good and bad.
Yeah.
Every sort of thing that's happening daily told me something. Who the friends were told you something. They didn't realise that. They didn't realise mixing with Tom, Dick or Harry told management, which was myself and others, that it was telling us a story, what the pals were like, what they liked, what type of person they liked. And so 8 years later, a difficult job has become a satisfying job.
Mm-hmm.
because we're involved in it, not because of any numbers I can give you.
No,
because I can't give you good numbers that I'd be delighted with. But we've been here for them, and I think Alan summed it up. Now when people say things like Alan said, that hits home, and it gives you that satisfaction that he said he didn't know where he'd have been. All we've done is clothed him, fed him, and put a roof over his head.
May I suggest that you've done more than that in the fact that you've given him a family and you've made him feel included.
That we do realise. Well, I do realise now. Yeah. But I thought at the very beginning, it's a case of you're going to move some on, you're going to not move others on, and those you've moved on is because of this and that. And I found that the whole setup is so unpredictable. It's just because of what's involved.
Of course.
Alcohol, serious drugs, people who have never had the good fortune to well, to have been brought up in a way that they should have been, let's say, or could have been, or whatever.
Yeah.
They haven't been that fortunate. I think that sums it up. And I can understand fully when people are critical of homeless people. I can understand it. I can understand that people don't want to give them any money because they think that they're going to be spending it on drugs. Because some of them do, straight away, goes on drugs. So I can understand everything about people supporting homeless people and people not supporting them. I can understand that.
What is the one thing that you would like or you wish, say, the general populace that don't find themselves either by luck or good fortune in that position, what's the one thing that you wish that they could understand about the plight of homeless people?
Oh, they'll never understand it. And now I've been involved, I would never have understood it.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been 8 years with the homeless people I've been with, I'd have been thinking all the sort of things that anybody is entitled to think.
Yeah. Would you say that since you've been involved and you set up the Macari Foundation and opened the Macari Centre, would you say that it has, as you said, opened your eyes, but do you feel more compassionate towards people and possibly less critical than maybe in the past when you didn't know circumstances?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, I would never have dreamt of things that I know now, and that has helped me. And I understand people who, I do understand people that have got no time for homeless people. I understand that as well.
Yeah.
Simply because I've now looked at everything and
sounds very like complex issues are at play behind the scenes.
with everything.
Yeah. And there's no easy answer, and it's definitely not one size fits all.
No.
Unique personalities, unique perspectives, life choices, families, etc. So it really, in my mind, it has to be a tailor-made approach, which is difficult.
Difficult. I've been thinking of what, right from the start, the approach I was obviously going to make was that I wasn't Lou Macari, the footballer, who's had a good life, who's been able to afford to do anything he wanted because of football, even though I didn't play at this crazy time nowadays.
No, absolutely.
So my approach to everybody here, in terms of our guests that we've had, is that I'd be one of them.
Yeah.
And if it came down to the fact that being one of them on occasions, I've got to end up scrapping with them a little bit. I've ended up doing that.
Okay.
I've had to do it because, I just felt I don't want them to think I'm something different to them, because I'm not a human being, as the same as they are. But I've never had that temptation of drugs. I've never had the. I don't drink. I've never had a drink in my life. I didn't try not to have a drink in my life. It just happened that my family upbringing was no drink. And when I went into football, my manager that I had in my very first club was a real disciplinarian, and I wish he was around today, but he's not, unfortunately, because he'd kick the backside of most of these up and coming footballers.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be up and coming footballers right from the start. They would be footballers. There'd be no messing around. There'd be no messing about. They wouldn't somewhere along the path go missing. And, I had I had about a 20 something year career, just under 18 years, actually in football, that was all because of my manager and the people around at the time.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided when I get into this job, I'm going to be around for them. I'm going to advise them the way I think they should be advised. And then if they, if they don't want to take that advice, then
Free will.
yeah, then they go their own way, and we all move on. So I feel that definitely football's helped me. It's helped me understand lots of things about lots of people, and certainly life itself has helped me, because I've been mixing with the people we've got here, and learned lots of different things, different characters, and that's been the enjoyable thing, the different characters that you've come across.
Lots of shades of grey.
Yeah.
It's not black and white.
Yeah, all different, licorice, all sorts. Yeah, it's been all right, but.
If you could make one big change through the Macari Foundation, what would it be?
I'd have made it. If I thought there was something there that I had missed out and could achieve by doing it, I would have done it. I've got enough friends, good contacts that would have helped me.
Yeah.
I've got friends that support Manchester City, and from some of them I've had £50,000 donation.
Fabulous.
Now, and I wouldn't say they were my lifelong friends. There were people I'd come across and got friendly with them, and through football we used to have the banter.
Yeah.
Obviously, Man City, Man United. Then all of a sudden they're asking me for a pen. Think, what do you want a pen for? And I give them a pen, and they're writing out a cheque. And I've had cheques for 50 grand from them. So.
Well, I'd love to be able to do that for you through our event on the 24th of November, but I think it might take the entire Staffordshire to arrive to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because...
No, I'm just saying that's other shocks that have come my way, and a couple of them, people may have said, "Oh, he's a bit of a boy, him." But that bit of a boy is just giving me 50 grand to look after homeless people.
Yeah.
He's not a bit of a boy, in my opinion. He's a good guy who's a kind guy who's lived his life the way he's wanted to live it, and so that there's been lots and lots of things have happened to me in the last 8 years that if I hadn't have been involved in this, they would never have happened.
Yeah.
And I can't think of many bad things.
Well, that's good.
I can't think of many bad things. Even the bad things where I've had problems with people, about accommodation, about this, about that, problems then we've had with the people we've been looking after. I've taken into account that these are people with these drugs inside them.
Yeah.
This is not the Mr. Nasty that he's just being just now. He's throwing every bad word they can think about at you and reacting the way he is. That's not him. That's
the drugs.
That's the drugs. So I've also realised that, unfortunately, I'll continue to do as much good as we can, but I'm not going to beat those drugs. That's going to have to be up to, I don't know what it's going to have to be up to, but as I say, when I see people lining the streets of America in particular, and tents are there and all that, we've all, or those that want to have a problem, we've all got a problem of some kind. Don't see it getting better. If it does, I'll be delighted.
Absolutely. And I mean, how does the charity involve the local community, and how important is that connection with the local community?
Well, the local community involves itself in us because we get donations and we get clothes and we get food and we get people we've never heard of turning up or ringing and then saying, can we come down and do this? And it's not once every 3 or 4 months, it's constantly, which is great for people to realise you're here,
Yeah.
and you need a little bit of help, and that help's got to comes through whatever they do is help. And it's brilliant to know that help is there for you, and it'll never go away in Stoke because the people here are generous people and might not have a lot to give away, but what they've got they will they'll give away. I think it was last winter or winter before. I mean, I had pensioners and of all ages want to give away their winter fuel money, if that's what it's called. Yeah, it is winter fuel money.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, no, wait a minute. They thought the people we've got here were going to freeze to death because.
Oh, love them! How kind.
So you can think of I think to sum it all up, you could think, or I could think of the most outrageous thing I'm going to do and go and ask the public to do it, and it'll happen.
Yeah.
By hook or by crook, it'll happen because somebody somewhere, no matter what it is, somebody somewhere would be willing to do it. Which is great. But unfortunately, the one thing that they won't be able to do is solve the problem.
They can help support the environment where they can make those decisions and choices for themselves through the feeling of connection and love.
Yeah.
And the feeling that they matter, which is possibly the first time that's ever occurred to them. Many of them anyway.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on there. That's the sort of things that will be going through their mind when Alan there sort of said it when he stumbled onto us and he's still with us.
Bless him.
And what is he? He's a drinker. Got a wife, or let me say, has had a wife, or whatever the situation is, and there's somebody in the background there, still there for him, not full time, but part time, and we're obviously still there for him as well. And with some of them, some that we've had, the fact that we have fed them, or Stoke-on-Trent has fed them and clothed them and that, they are still bouncing about the streets. When I leave here today, if I walk into Stoke, I'll see 3 or 4 that we've had.
Yeah.
They haven't gone on to bigger and better things because they've misbehaved and they'll jokingly say to me, "You got that bed ready for me?" And I'll say, "Yeah, but it's not ready yet." And it isn't ready yet because they haven't changed. Yeah. And that's what getting to know them's all about. And unfortunately, I just wish they could understand if they did change, they would be back with us.
change is scary for many people, and sometimes staying in that place is safe. It feels safe.
Yeah.
It seems safe, regardless of whether it's for whether it's for their better health or judgment remains to be seen.
Happening to more people than it has done in the last 8 years, because I've got, I know roughly the figures we've got,
Yeah.
and I'd like there to be more. But if I'm going to be honest with myself, sitting here today, I'm thinking with all the troubles that are out there,
Yeah.
I'm not going to achieve that. I'm just thinking, can I achieve it? Can I, or is it tougher? It's definitely getting tougher and tougher and tougher.
Are there any plans to open another centre?
Oh no, I'll be honest, if things had got better and I could see a lot of light at the end of the tunnel, then that may have been a possibility. And I don't know if family that I've got, want to take it on and do this and do that.
Because it's very much a family situation, isn't it?
But we'll keep going and and just see where it takes us. There's no time limit on it, because there's not a time limit on anything involving people.
Absolutely.
Just
I suppose it will take as long or as short people's recovery and their choices, depending on their choices and their mental health.
Oh yeah.
And the situations that they're in.
The mental health's the biggest thing. I don't understand it. I don't understand where I can go and get some people that are proven experts, that have got proven results.
Yeah.
And they can tell me, or we can do it together, what you actually do to stop people worried about whatever it is. Because I don't think it's possible to stop them worrying about various things that eventually might send them a little bit crazy and might send them to believing that taking some drugs helps get rid of that problem they've got. I don't understand that side of it.
I mean, no man is an island, and I believe no association or charity, or we all need support.
Yeah.
We all need to work with each other. So what external agencies do Macari Foundation work with to help support your residents?
Well, we need to work with anybody and everybody that can deal with drugs, drugs, supporting them. Yeah. Alcohol, probably no different to anybody who's not homeless may be trying to deal with. Yeah. Just because the homeless, they're in here, we're looking after them. But there's people out there that have got various things that they need support, and it's no different to.
Have you got agencies in place that support you within that already? So like Drug Arm or anybody, or even AA or NA or things, agencies like that. Just to band a few names around off the top of my head.
I've never had anybody come to me and say, we are whatever, and we can, if anybody's got a problem, send them to us, because we can be guaranteed to cure them. Because I don't think there is.
I agree with you. I don't think there's any guarantee of a cure, but there is support. I would suggest that there is support with wellness.
Right.
As long as, at the end of the day, it's the individual choice.
Right.
within that, I would suggest that there is a support network that needs to be put together, or that a person can access in order to shelter and food and warmth. They are the basic needs of any human being.
Yeah.
And after that, I would suggest, now I'm no mental health practitioner. I mean, I've worked with charities in the past personally that have supported people within certain aspects of their lives, and I've been on there, and I've been homeless within my teens as well. So, which is why this work is so dear to my own heart. It's about opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's about the person taking the opportunity, and if the person doesn't see or know about opportunities there, then they can't take them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, if you've got an organisation that can help us, I would certainly deal with them. Take Alan for example.
Yeah.
If he's got to come to me and say, I need sorting out.
Yeah.
Can you sort me out? He doesn't do that.
No.
He comes into the office, he's had a few drinks, goes away, comes back a few days later and says, oh, that was terrible the other night, I was bang out of order and all that. But he doesn't come back in and say, that's it.
Yeah.
I haven't got that vision that I'm confident enough to go to somebody and say, look, you've got a massive problem, get yourself sorted.
So thank you so much for talking to us today,
Pleasure.
Lou. And it's been an absolute pleasure to chat and to meet you. And
Haven't shocked you, have I?
no, trust me, I'm pretty much unshockable. And if you would, and just for people watching this, if you would like to hear more about Macari Foundation, you can come and chat more with the where they will have a stand at their event, and Lou is very kindly agreed to, because it fits in with the football.
Where is the event?
Where is the event?
Yeah.
It is on the 24th of November.
Yeah.
At the Doubletree Hilton.
Yeah.
In Festival Park,
Oh,
Stoke
right.
on Trent.
Lovely.
And it is a charity mind, body, spirit event, and as my company, sounds a bit swanky that, my company, but what it really means is I've got broad shoulders, is that we are donating half our profits to your foundation.
Lovely.
So
Appreciate that.
to support the fabulous work you do, and to hopefully make a difference in more people's lives.
Okay.
Okay.
Lovely, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I
Lovely.
would want to give you a
Thank
hug,
you.
but for camera, shake of the hand. There you go. Thank you very much.